Hey guys, welcome back to NAS 716 studio. My name is Anas Mengla and I'm actually live with our guest Doug Meridian. We're live from our new show that I'm starting today, the first show, Mind Your Business with NAS. We are live every day. I'll show you the schedule on the screen in a second. We're live every day at 6 p.m. On Monday. You get to see Clearing the Mist with Ken Hamilton. On Tuesday is Vibing with Vicky Weidman. And Wednesday is Faith Matters with Dr. Nasir Khan. On Thursday is Keeping It Frank with Frank Handley. And on Friday you'll be able to watch this new show that I'm starting today. And my goal is to be able to talk to different community members who are either starting their business, they've been in business world for a long time, or sometimes it's going to be politicians, sometimes it's going to be other community members who are involved in our community trying to improve our lives. So in today's show too, we can still see the schedule. So you don't need to remove my name. You'll be able to talk to us live right now too. You'll be able. You can send your live questions, comments. We'll post them on screen as you send them. And let me go ahead and introduce my friend. He's been on the show in this studio a few other times too. Welcome back. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm busy. I think I'm your first guest on this new show. Is that true?
Yes, sir.
You didn't tell me that. You didn't tell me that, but thank you. I'm happy to be here. Thanks.
Yeah. I had other shows before. I was doing different things, but I feel like this is something that was missing. That we talked to different people from our community, but we need to encourage people to come back to the world of business. Either start a business. Try to motivate them,
Yep.
and I wanted to start with you because you're at the same phase in your life as well. You're trying to help other people start something in their life as well. You're running for State Assembly 145th district?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
So do you want to tell, just remind audience, what that means?
Yes, thank you. So the New York State Assembly is made up of 150 members from various districts all across New York State. So this district in particular, the 145th, does include Grand Island, town of Wheatfield, town of Niagara, Niagara Falls, Lewiston, all the way up to Youngstown and over to Cambria a bit. So it's a diverse district, and as an assembly person, your job is to carry the needs and the concerns of your district back to Albany. So I do believe it's a position where you can have an immediate impact. And what I've tried to say to people, there's also the state senate, and of course the governor. On some of the larger issues, you're one of those 200 voices, let's say, okay? But when it comes to your district, you're the only voice.
Mm-hmm.
And that, for me, would be a great honor. So, to be able to go back to be our voice in Albany and talk about the challenges that we have and quite frankly, the things that we haven't been able to get done. So.
Okay, well, and thank you for doing that too. As you said last time too, that your opponent right now, he's been unopposed for last few times that we ran?
That's correct. So he won office, and ever since he has come into office, he hasn't had a challenger.
Mm-hmm.
So things, that in its very most basic or most simple, the fact that we don't have a choice, and the folks in the district don't have any, they don't have two people to choose from when they go to vote. I think that puts us at a disadvantage.
Mm-hmm.
And it also doesn't cause there to be any conversation. But, there's not a challenger and somebody questioning, can we do better? Maybe, could we have done this instead of that? When we don't have somebody, asking those tough questions and having that debate, so to speak, it doesn't give our district much leverage.
Okay, so you started your campaign as I remember about 6-7 weeks ago. We were one of the first people you met at that time.
Yes.
and you were part of our community day that we did outside our this building that we're located right here at 6951 Williams Road, right at the corner of Landslide and and Williams Road in Niagara Falls, at the corner of Niagara Falls and Wheatfield too. So you live in the neighborhood too, and you helped us with that as well. But that was one of your first outing as for your campaign as well.
It was, and there was a redistricting to where they were redrawing the lines for what the district would look like. It was a slow season, so to speak. We do have the governor is up, the governor's seat is up for election, but it's not a presidential year. So there was not many mayoral races at a local level. So there was some talk, and we got really close to the deadline there, which is mid-April, as to whether or not I was, I just wanted to see if it was possible, quite frankly, because I had not, I didn't realize that there was a good chance there would not be an opponent. And as soon as I heard that, I said to myself, it didn't sit well with me. I said, I can't believe that we're not going to at least have a discussion.
Yeah.
We're not going to at least have a choice.
Yeah.
So that started to weigh on me, and then as it got closer, I thought, do we have enough time to make this happen? So thankfully, I was able to meet with the right people and have those discussions in short order, and it turned out that we did have enough time to get me on the ballot. So we kind of hit the ground running at the end of April, and building out a team of volunteers, and we're starting to see, we're gaining a lot of momentum. I'm excited. I'm doing more events. I'm having more requests. So thank you. You're always top of my list.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
But the fact is, I don't think people, our summer here is short. And folks here, especially, I feel like this is our first true summer where folks aren't thinking as much about COVID. So people are busy. You go to the concerts, you go to any of the events around town. They're very, very busy. So people aren't really thinking politics just yet. But they're starting to. They're starting to realize. Like the other day, I mentioned to someone that the election's about 100 days away, and they were. I said, yeah. I said, November isn't that far off.
Yeah, that too, and unless you hear about election on Fox News or MSNBC, people don't even forget about this. And this is why we wanted to repeat some of the questions that I asked you last time too. And I want to remind our audience as well again that this show is live right now. If you're watching it on Friday, right now it's 6:08 p.m. You can send your questions, comments, whatever you want to say, either to Facebook or our YouTube channel. We'll be able to post your comments and questions on the screen, and we'll be able to ask Doug. I'm going to try to ask tough questions. I don't really have a lot of information, but if you don't feel that I'm asking the right question, go ahead and ask those questions. Ask your questions, and we'll be able to send those questions your way. And if you can get them right now, if you're watching this recorded show, you can still send your information, and we'll be able to pass that to you, to Doug, and then he'll be. I know that you'll get back with them. So let's talk about the elephant in the room. Amazon Mega Center. I just want to remind you guys what that means too, and you'll probably fill me in when I misstep. And the Amazon, you see the picture right there on the screen as well, F11. This is at the corner of where Packard and the Lockport Road meet, just west of the Niagara Falls Air Force Base. Let me just look at my notes here. 216 acres of land. Right now, they grow corn and some other wheat and stuff like that there. But Amazon is about to move in, about to close on this deal here. Just the background story as well. Couple of years ago, Amazon was interested in moving into one of the locations at Grand Island. The town was interested in, but there were about 1,700 people that actually signed a petition, and they were against it. So town caved in. But at that time, the great people of town of Niagara, they reached out to Amazon team, and they said they'll be more than happy to accommodate them right around the corner from the first location, right? So where are we with the process right now?
Amazon has submitted all their applications, and town board has given approval to the project. They're awaiting to see what kind of incentive package the Niagara County Industrial Development Agency, the IDA, would present to them. But most of the formalities as far as town approvals and environmental impact and those studies, and they've all been completed, they've all been approved. The meetings that I've attended, and every time I have a conversation with someone, I learn a little bit more about the project and it comes into focus. So having a very good understanding about the project is certainly good, but none of it has changed my opinion on the fact that it's a project that we have to capitalize on. We am in support of it. There are going to be challenges that come with it.
Yeah.
We'll talk some about that. But I am in support of the project, and there's a lot of layers to it.
Yeah, Amazon is willing to spend about $300 million. They used to with the town of Niagara, they used to call this project FIFI or FIFI, I'm not sure. They're expecting about 24 trucks an hour. That means about 200 to 300 hours. So that's what one of the pointy thing that people are opposing to. They don't want to see a lot of traffic on Packard Road or Niagara or on Lockport Road.
Yeah, I think traffic is the number one, not only concern, but probably the thing that we're the least prepared for. And I don't think that that's just a Niagara County. I think that's Western New York as a whole. From an infrastructure standpoint, we're not like a Charlotte, North Carolina, or an Orlando, Florida, where we can build, our roads are existing roads. When they, maybe in North Carolina or Florida or somewhere where they have a growing economy, they're building out, and as they build out, they build their roads wider, bigger, to accommodate. So we're working with existing infrastructure. So the traffic issue, the site itself, the amount of land and acreage that they needed, the site is shovel-ready. It has been for 10 years. It's been certified as a shovel-ready site. So if somebody comes in from an industrial standpoint, what they probably had, I don't want to say, it just turns out that this project comes with a lot of traffic. It could have been any industrial project where they were just making goods and shipping them out on occasion. But this one is actually, because it's a distribution center, it's not just about having the shovel-ready site and having it zoned industrial. It's about having getting their goods in and out of the facility. So it does create a large amount of traffic.
So have you or somebody spoken to or is DOT involved in the process of improving the road condition? Because Niagara Falls Air Force Base is next door too, and on occasion they can have a lot of traffic as well. People are already thinking that they're getting a lot more traffic because Military Road, which is not too far from there, is already very hectic in that corner, the 6 corners we're talking about, the old Kmart corner. So it's already busy. So what are the plans?
So the DOT and the traffic studies have been performed. I will say that I believe that Amazon has done a great deal of due diligence, and their team. I mean, it's not just Amazon. They have folks who represent them from a development standpoint. I believe that they've done a great deal of due diligence. Things that they are not only proposing but plan to do, have committed to doing, is to creating turning lanes, adding traffic signals, controlling traffic into the facility and out of the facility so that trucks and not only trucks that are delivering goods, but trucks that are going out, receiving and delivering. So that they're going out in different patterns. So one comes in and one goes out. You go in one entrance and out an exit. They're not both in the same corridor. They're making a lot of accommodations as far as berms and things around the facility to keep noise down. All of that is wonderful, but ultimately, at some point, we are going to need to expand. It's inevitable. If you look at other facilities that they've built, even as close as Rochester or Syracuse, the need for expanding our roadways is going to be inevitable. So right now the discussion is, and it's a little preemptive, but that's where the state and other folks would probably get involved. the ideal roadway for that would be Lockport Road. Lockport Road would be the most prime for expansion.
So does that mean an exit from 190 on Lockport Road as well?
I think that would be, I think that would be wonderful. I don't think it's in the near future. That's a heavy lift. But ultimately expanding that, I think that would be part of the discussion. That would certainly be part of the discussion. But Lockport Road, you have the potential on either, on both.
Expansion
things.
as well, yeah.
Correct. You have the ability to expand that with less impact than you would a Packard Road.
Okay, let's just look at the building one more time on the screen here. Just want to remind everyone, it's a beautiful building. It's going to be about 107 feet tall. It's going to have 55 loading docks, close to 500 tractor and trailer parking spots in the back, and close to 2,000 parking spaces as well. They're projecting they'll be able to hire up to 1,000 employees. Most of them are going to be full-time too, and then they're going to pay $18 an hour. Most of the employees will get that, and employees will be expected to work 10-hour shift. So, and then the facility is going to be 24 hours, although the traffic is expected to be early in the morning before most of the people leave to work, or it's going to be late in the afternoon as well, right?
They are trying to control traffic patterns. I feel that it'd be naive to say that it's not going to be busy all day.
Yeah.
There will be peak times, but that facility will be busy, and there will be trucks coming in and out, I think, hourly. So some of the things, just in scope, so you mentioned the number of employees, you mentioned the number of acreage and the square footage. So just in scope for people for a frame of reference, but again, this land was zoned specifically for this. Maybe they were expecting one project to take all of that acreage, but just in reference, the facility itself is going to be about 3 times the size of at least the ground footprint of the Seneca Niagara Casino. So,
Okay.
Our old convention center downtown, it's going to be 3 times the size of it. So it's truly a very large project, and then the acreage is about 2 times the size. So it's a great deal. It is a enormous facility. It also is a state-of-the-art facility in the sense of how they bring product in and out. It's something they haven't done before. So you would think with a warehouse setup, and the way it was explained to me, is that you normally have everything on ground floor, and in this case, it's not true. They are actually using, they're actually storing product and using.
It's like five stories high, right?
Correct. And
Okay.
they asked so a couple things they asked for a variance for was height. But that leads to, and this is where you have to have that community partnership. There were concerns about if the building was of a certain height, could the volunteer fire department service them in the event of an emergency? Okay, do they have the trucks that have the ladders and such that it will extend to that height? And the answer is they don't. So, this is where we have to look at Amazon to see if we can partner with them to get better equipment for our volunteer firefighters. I mean, these are all things that I think outside of just putting together a tax incentive package,
Yeah.
we have to have conversations about.
Yeah, speaking of a good recommendation, speaking of that, you did write op-ed in Niagara Gazette today, just on that topic. The Niagara County Industrial Development Agency has cleared the Amazon Center that we're talking about. Now, you're part of NFC Development Corporation as well?
Correct, not affiliated with this project, but
Okay.
I work closely, I'm on an economic development board for the city of Niagara Falls.
Okay.
And with that, you see a lot of these agreements with other municipalities, and you see where they fall short. I mean, we don't have to go very far. Tesla. Tesla has fallen very far short of what we thought it was what was promised and what it was supposed to be. So we have to try to not repeat the mistakes of the past.
Yeah, well, when Amazon opened their center in New York City too, they at that time too they promised a lot too, and most of those promises were not kept, or people felt that they were underserved as well. So, who's gonna keep make sure that Amazon uh, is is keeping their promises?
Well, the usually with the industrial development agency and any kind of economic development arm, in exchange for the tax incentives, it's usually pretty cookie cutter, and it's, well, in exchange for this, you're going to guarantee that you can generate this many jobs, but then when that falls short, they give them an extension. So it's not something that's concrete a lot of times, or where they can really hold them to, their feet to the fire, so to speak. So, my idea is, while we're waiting for that, these projects, the facility itself is going to take 2 years just to build.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that in and of itself, it's not like we're going to be up and running in next year even. So, while we're waiting for that, there's a question about the number of workers. Do we have that many workers available and that have the skills that they need to work in this type of facility? So,
Mm-hmm.
and those are all things I mentioned today. But this is where the town of Niagara in and of itself, and also possibly the IDA, while we're waiting for that impact, and it's a slow, it builds over time. So while we're waiting for that impact, while we're waiting for those jobs to be created, and we're waiting for hopefully the benefits of a project like this,
Mm-hmm.
there has to be other things in place that have more of an immediate impact. And I think some of those things could be workforce development and job training. We have to have a discussion with them. These are all things that were in my op-ed today. We have to have a discussion with them about transportation, public transportation. Right now, there's not even a bus route that goes past this.
And I was actually going to come to that too. And we don't have a bus route right here in Niagara Falls, right here where our office is located, and we're within the city, within the at the boundary of Niagara Falls, the town. So a few other recommendations that you made. I just want to remind people before I get to that. So one tough question that I wanted to ask you is, for 1,000 jobs. There are a lot of other industries within Niagara County as well. Delphi is still there. Niagara Falls Air Force Base is there too. There are a few other huge businesses here. For 1,000 jobs, yes, Amazon is going to spend $300 million. They're build this huge facility. Are 1,000 jobs going to suffice the new hectic and the traffic and all that we're going to deal with? And the tax break they're going to get as well.
So is the question, is it worth it?
Yeah.
I believe it is. I believe it is, if we have a vision,
Mm-hmm.
and we can't be so short-sighted.
Mm-hmm.
Those 1,000 jobs and the folks who are working those 1,000 jobs, that should be their, I don't want to say first job, but that should be a stepping stone for them towards a better job.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? I mean, I don't think people want to work 20 years for $15, $16 an hour. But the idea is, if we can get these folks trained and get them experience and get them working in this type of facility, then we have a more skilled workforce. And now when other companies come along, we don't have, so Amazon might not be it shouldn't be their last job.
Yeah.
But we have to start there. So that's the way I look at it. I mean, I look at it as a sense of, we have the same 1,000 people that they employ in year one probably won't be the same people working, shouldn't be the same people, in essence. They should move on to bigger and better things. And part of doing that comes with getting that experience.
Okay, thank you. Now, so 5 more minutes, and I want to remind our audience again, they can send their questions or comments on live on Facebook and YouTube as well. I'll go back to the recommendation that you made. You started with the NFTA Center. Or NFTA should invest probably having some public transportation coming up to Lockport Road and Packard Road, so people can use the public transportation to get to work as well. And you're hoping or thinking that Amazon should help with that project as well.
Yeah, I mean, everywhere else in the country, public transportation and people utilizing it are utilizing it even more now than they used to. gas prices are up and all of that. So, and then if you look at other, San Francisco might not be compared to San Francisco to the town of Niagara, but, so these companies actually provide busing for their employees. They don't need an NFTA. They're doing it on their own.
Yeah.
Because the commutes are so long and because the cost of having a car. So, so we need to get with the times a little bit when it comes to our public transportation and making it more accessible.
And then the other point that you made was very good too. You said that maybe Amazon should help make the down payment up to maybe $5,000 per employee for their 1,000 employees.
Well, thank you. Yeah, and hopefully we'll have time to run down all of them. The first recommendation, or the idea that I wanted to put out there, and this, again, we have to have idea sessions. We have to put these things out there and see if we can pursue them. Is that Amazon would set aside $500,000. So that's for 1,000 employees. That would be $5,000 each. Okay. If an employee purchases a home in Niagara County, Amazon will provide them with $5,000 towards the down payment. So what does that do? It's great. We want them to invest in infrastructure. We want them to they've offered to build parks on help with parks projects in Grand Island. Those are wonderful, but they don't generate revenue for the municipality in the form of tax dollars. So you help your employees. Home ownership is great for communities. Okay, it stabilizes communities, and it generates tax revenue and property taxes.
Yeah.
So now we're not just taking that money, building a park, and then not seeing any tax revenue from it. So let's help employees purchase homes in this county.
Yep.
The county's giving them the tax break. Let's help them buy homes in this county.
Okay, thank you, and I don't want to comment on because I want to finish everything within time. So the next was you're hoping that Amazon can probably start some sort of training for the potential employees they're going to have whenever they do the groundbreaking or whenever they start.
Everybody, these are the things that sometimes you just have to say, hey, we've all agreed upon this, and every conversation I've had, both Amazon and our local officials agree that we don't have, our workforce is probably ill-equipped. We need more people ready to go to work in this facility. Well, how do we get them ready to work? We start training them now. Let's not wait until we open the facility and then say, well, we hope these folks show up for a job. Let's start training them with the skills they need so that when the facility's done and it's ready to open, these folks are ready to start.
Okay, and then next point is that you wanted, hoping that Amazon can pitch in with improving our technologies at school and within schools and maybe within homes as well.
Well, and that's a great point. I didn't have a chance to touch on it in the article. You would appreciate this. I know you love your tech. So folks don't realize, I mean, Amazon is, a lot of folks see them as a place to shop, right? Or a way to shop. Amazon's extremely large, even from a technology standpoint. I mean, they're a player on the level of Google, Microsoft. I mean, their technology is very forward-thinking. So the idea, and Amazon Web Services, one of the other things people don't realize is one of Amazon's biggest money makers isn't the shopping. It's their web service.
They actually surpassed their expectation last quarter because of that. Yeah.
So, and that's a part of their business not a lot of people appreciate is AWS.
Yep.
So my feeling here is, well, here we are, we're a county giving you wonderful, all these wonderful tax breaks, and here you are, this technology company, in essence. Let's bring that technology into our schools, and tablets for kids, internet access, teaching them, because that's how our kids are going to do well going forward and in the future, is that if they're learning that technology now, the studio right here, learning these kinds of skills are what's going to serve our children the best.
All right, we're almost out of time. What's your final word? What would you want to say to people who are watching this show?
Well, I would say, Amazon obviously is the biggest talking point right now, but when it comes to any business, and that's the theme of this show, when it comes to anyone who's trying to start a business, we have to be more creative about how we help them. One of the things I want to do is leverage, more of our power. We have a power in abundance, and like I've said it to you before, I've said it on every show I've gone on to. What you folks have done with this building, and the reuse of it, and the creativity of making it available to the public, Imagine if we were able to give you free power for the first year. You know, sometimes you can't write a check. Sometimes you can't say, okay, well, here's money in the form of a grant. But if we were able to give you free power for the first year to help you get on your feet, to get you, that's the toughest part of any business.
I'm already smiling.
Right? I mean, any business owner will tell you it's the first couple of years that's the hardest.
Yes,
And
they are.
We need to leverage the resources we have to help not just Amazon, but especially folks like you. And I've met a bunch of them. I mean, I'm as much as I'm trying to weigh in on the Amazon project, I'm really it's the smaller business owners, medium-sized business owners that are going to get us back on track.
Thank you thank you for coming in today. This is not the last time you're here. We'll definitely have you back here as well. And if you're one of the people watching the show and you don't agree with anything that Doug has said or the question that I asked, you're more than welcome to come on the show or comment. Send us questions and we'll be more than happy to pass that information. We'll have him again if you want to sit right here this year and ask him those tough questions too. More than welcome to do so. Just want to remind you, we are live every day, every weekday, 6 p.m. If I'm here every day, then my wife's probably going to kick me out the house. 6 p.m. weekdays. On Monday we have Clearing the Mist with Ken Hamilton. On Tuesdays, Vibing with Vicky Weidman, our family friend, wonderful person. On Wednesday, Dr. Nasir Khan does Faith Matters. And on Thursday is Keeping It Frank with Frank Handley. And then Mind Your Business with Naz. That's me on Friday. We'll see you guys here every weekday. Don't forget to subscribe to and follow. I never said that before. Follow us on Facebook and YouTube. Thank you so much for watching this show. We really appreciate you watching this show, and we'll see you next time.